Welcome back to the Superheroes Everyday Podcast. I'm Danny Horn, and I'm here with author and playwright Laramie Dean. Laramie, hello.
Hi.
You're still with me. I'm so glad. This is Act 3 of the 2006 medical meltdown, X-Men The Last Stand. The story so far, if they want a war, we will give them a war. Semi-professional drag queen Magneto is sick of talking about mutant revolution, and he is ready to just go ahead and have one. He's recruited a whole bunch of third-tier nobodies to destroy Worthington Labs and their terrible instantaneous mutant suppression potion. Meanwhile, the dwindling X-Men have decided to fight on behalf of Worthington Labs for some reason. I have no idea what they're trying to do. Also, meanwhile, the terrifying evil version of Jean Grey that we did not ask for is standing around smoldering, thinking about how much fun it is to disassemble main characters. I'd say she has some tricks up her sleeve, but she really only has one trick, and it's basically a pocket-sized version of Thanos' CGI delete key. But here we are, the battle commences in Act 3 of Marvel's X-Men The Last Stand. Bobby points out there are only 6 of us. And that's counting Kitty and Colossus.
This is so stupid.
Bobby is right.
That's an interesting question you posed. Like, what do they want?
What do they want?
Do they really want to preserve Jimmy's life? I feel like that has not been a thing in this movie. Like, we must preserve life at all cost. Nobody ever says that. Like,
No.
and I could get behind that if like that seems like a Storm thing to say. Like, no, we must keep this kid safe at all costs. But nobody's what separates him from that guy that Wolverine disemboweled a few minutes ago?
We lost. Yeah, this is the weird thing. We lost Scott. Wolverine says, we lost Scott. We lost the professor. If we don't fight now, everything they stood for will die with them. And I'm not sure why that's the case. In this case, this really is like there are some bad guys and we're supposed to be the good guys. And so here we come. Now we gotta do this. That's all this is.
Well, and nobody addresses the fact that Magneto is Jewish and was put into a concentration camp, but is basically Hitler.
He's a Nazi. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody ever. That could have been so interesting.
He is
and
a
again,
secret Nazi. Yeah.
It just takes one line for somebody to, but no.
You know what happens? Now get ready for the all singing, all dancing bridge displacement sequence. Which is so silly and funny. I like it. There's all these like normal people on the Golden Gate, all these families trying to commute and whatnot, and the bridge starts to shake. They make a huge deal about it. People are like trapped in their cars and they're trying to run off the bridge. And they're walking down the Golden Gate Bridge. There is an enormous team power walk arranged very effectively with Magneto in the middle. Yeah, and they're flanked by like Pyro and Jean and Juggernaut.
San Francisco, walking down the Golden Gate Bridge. Real subtle. Real fucking subtle. Oh my god, it's a queer menace. Oh, I don't
it really is. Yeah, and because Magneto's there in his like drag
and
outfit.
The family, you've got the little family trapped in the car, the little
You're
white
so
people.
right. Oh my god, you're right.
The mom's like, I'm gonna push the little it's a stupid throwaway joke, but it's a queer menace. And yeah, Magneto's in a fucking cape. And lady is like butch as fuck. Like this is what middle America's terrified of.
Yeah.
Well, good. Burn it all down. Burn it all the fuck down.
I am on his side. I don't see I cannot.
I don't see the problem.
I don't either.
That's the problem.
I don't even like Golden Gate Bridge that much. It's always foggy there anyway. You can hardly see it. So I don't see the problem. Magneto throws out his hands like the diva that he is. He bends the whole goddamn bridge, breaks it in half, and just kind of like moves it to Alcatraz. This is not strictly necessary in order to get to Alcatraz. They have regular ferries. And taking an entire historic bridge there is not required.
Okay, why hasn't he done this before? Like, if you can do this, why wait until this semi-pivotal moment to...
He wants to have all the little extras wearing black behind him.
I guess I would be like showing my bridge power a long time ago. Like,
oh yeah, no.
Fuck with me? Here's my bridge power.
I can move bridges wherever I want, anywhere I want to go.
Your bridges can't stop me.
I don't have to. I don't own a car. He's one of those guys. I don't own a car. If I want to go someplace, I take a bridge.
You guys are the ones that started the Iron Age. This is really all your fault.
Thank you, Magneto. Thank you. We're all very impressed. So there's a thing I have to point out, and this is a thing that, like, I'm going to say this right now, and no one's going to know what I mean, and you just have to go and look at the movie. There's this really annoying, jarring transition that bothers me. Where like as they're moving the bridge and they're walking through, it's late afternoon. It's like heading towards sunset. And then Magneto like looks at the family in the car and then he turns. And in the next shot, suddenly it's nighttime. It's completely dark.
We need to have a nighttime fight. So it's dark. Surprise. The sun sets really fast in
In San Francisco, yeah, it sure does. So now we got all these troops arranging themselves, and there's Magneto. This is now the siege of Worthington Labs. Magneto and his inner circle are looking, and Pyro shouts, "Let's take it down!" And everyone goes, "Rah!" And they all just run. And that is apparently the battle plan.
I mean, to be fair, I've never been in a war before, so I'm not super clear on how they work.
On how the tactics are. I don't think the strategy usually is like go and yell and run. Go run at the bad people that we don't like.
Are they? They're not killing the mutants, right? They're just depowering them,
Well,
right?
that's yeah, but that's basically the same.
Well, no. I'm just thinking it isn't like they're mowing them down and shooting them with guns and killing them. They're depowering them.
Yeah, but
It
then they
would
don't
it would seem worse to me if they were like if the army was shooting and
was just like
killing.
shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, and killing them to death.
As far as Magneto is concerned, it's
Doesn't matter.
his whole well, no,
Yeah.
his whole thing. So this is actually upsetting to me because he at this point he says like in chess the pawns go
Let's go
first.
first. Yeah.
And then we see them all getting like shot up and taken down with these cure needles. And he says that's why the pawns go first. It's like, yeah, that's your entire troop strength though. Like
And is he just hoping that they won't have any more cure needles? That they'll
I
use up all the
don't
cure needles
know.
on the pawns? I
He's
thought
the
about this when I was watching this.
yeah. He's supposed to care about these people, is the thing. Like these are
Yeah.
the mutants that
Oh,
he
that's
has
the reason he's
rallied to his
fighting.
yeah.
That's his whole fight is for
It's
yeah,
for
no.
this specific thing not to happen.
Yep.
And he's just watching like dozens of mutants are just being sent. Yeah, like I didn't even realize that. Yeah, but like they still have more needles at the end of this. They apparently have an there's an
Infinite number of needles.
infinite supply of Jimmy
They've
juice.
they've milked Jimmy but good.
They have taken him and twisted him like an old toothpaste tube
Oh
and
my
just
god. I didn't
squeezed
even
all his
think
stuff
about
out
that
of him.
either. Like, is Jimmy okay?
No, Jimmy's
Deeply
he's
traumatized.
very flat at this point. And what we find out in a little bit, this is so upsetting. The death of the pawns thing is so upsetting me because we find out later in the funnest possible, most like video game style moment where Magneto picks up a car and Pyro sets it on fire and then they throw it at the factory, which is fucking fantastic. Like that's amazing. It looks great. And it's like, wait, so you just let all the pawns go?
Why didn't you do that
Why did you do
first?
the car thing? The car thing's
There's
fantastic.
so many cars, right? There's
Yeah.
so many things to throw
And so
and
cool
light on
looking and so
fire.
much fun for Pyro and then do that.
Well, and why
Yeah.
isn't Pyro just burning the soldiers to death?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, this is bad. This is bad for these pawns. Also, by the way, we don't see what happens to them afterwards. They disappear
They just lie there.
as far as we're concerned. Yeah.
We know that the cure is instantaneous, and we know that it isn't deadly. We know that they are just regular people again. So
Yeah, but
technically
this
they
is
should be getting up and like
this is a war zone.
yeah.
Getting up and running away, except they can't run away because they're on fucking island.
None of this makes any sense.
It's really not great. Yeah. More black clad mutants pouring across. There's the attack plan is still just like yelling, yeah. And then
Yelling and throwing.
yeah. And then suddenly Storm is there. And Storm starts attacking them with lightning. And Wolverine touches down and he starts giving orders to the army guys.
I wondered about that too. I was like,
Yeah.
do they know who you people are?
Yeah. You men, cover the doors. Everybody, get together and hold this line. And it's like, do they know that you're okay? You're one of the most dangerous men in the world.
Well, hey, at least Wolverine has learned a lesson. At least he's learned the lesson that we're all supposed to learn from this movie, which is teamwork makes the something something.
And if you can team up with the US government to take away your own rights,
Is this the most conservative superhero movie ever made?
now, yeah, I think it's actually a really, really good point.
The
Yeah, it's all
at first I
about
was
it's
like,
all
no,
about
this is
like
all about gay rights and gay power, and then I was like,
it's real
no.
not. Yeah, no, this is about the like, yeah. Get them gay people, load up on cure guns and start curing them gay people. I
Gross.
yeah,
Which also has weird connections to HIV. And
yeah.
oh, the more I think about this, Danny
This
Horn, the
really
less
actually is.
I like
I
it.
Lamborghini, I totally agree. Yeah, this is we're both really upset right
That's horrifying.
now.
I
It
feel
really
really
is. Yeah.
afraid. Well, fortunately, someone is going to come along and then it doesn't matter anymore what happens because it's going to evaporate a bomb. So
Yeah.
people are shooting and throwing, and now the X-Men are there. Hooray.
Magneto tells Juggernaut to get inside. He's about to do that. And Jean Grey is just standing there, very quiet, showing no particular emotion. She doesn't care about nothing. Wolverine fights a guy who can like throw his arms at Wolverine and still grow back arms.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. Like a lizard. I was like,
Yeah.
chop his head off. Just cut his head off.
Well then Wolverine kicks him in the nuts
Oh,
and
yes. Well,
he's
we have
like
to have
grow
that.
those back. Yeah, so it's
The
thank
fanboys, the
you.
straight fanboys need that.
Need a crotch
That
kick.
we need it.
Always fun. And then there's some real good dialogue here. Like Kitty is running it. Juggernaut is trying to run into the facility in order to find little Jimmy. And Kitty grabs him and I don't know how you describe what she does. She phases him. Kitty
Phases
grabs him
him.
and phases him and puts him in the floor. And he says, "Don't you know who I am? I'm the
The
Juggernaut."
Juggernaut, bitch. Oh my fucking god. That maybe was when I turned this movie off in my head. That was maybe when I was like, oh, I
It
can't.
is that is great moments in movie dialogue for sure. And so then like three of the lame people, Arclight and Porcupine Boy and some other this is now like the other lady who shows up that we don't even know who she is. They find Worthington and they find Dr. Rao.
Oh, this is very upsetting.
And here's another dialogue moment. Miles says, "You're the guy who invented the cure, right?" And they say yes. And he says, "Girls?" And then the girls take him away, which is pretty great.
Oh, what is wrong with this movie? What
I
is
don't
wrong
know.
with it? Ladies?
And then he hugs Dr. Rao. He says, "Calm down, calm down. Everything's gonna be okay." And then all of his little quills come out, and he
Porcupines are to death.
quills her to death.
Did not care for that because I
Tell me
like that
why.
because I like that actor and it just
Yeah.
seems and why.
Well, these are people. I mean, this is one where I'm on their side because these are the people who created the
Oh,
cure.
these are
And
the
fuck,
cure makers. Oh,
yeah.
totally.
So fuck these
But
dudes. Yeah,
from an audience perspective, though, these are bad guys. And why are they
yeah.
bad guys? Because they're killing people, and they're killing people
It's very
because
confused. Yeah.
they're Homo sapiens, right? So they've got to die. And we're supposed to be on the side of the people.
I don't know who are inside. Well, Kitty goes and runs through a whole bunch of walls with
She's trying to
Juggernaut.
save Jimmy the Leech.
Yeah, and she
No one
finds
is
him
briefed. No one's briefed her on
on what that
what he
means.
does.
Yeah, she finds him, which is great. And she says, "I'm here to help you. We'll get out of here." And then she tries to get through the wall, but they can't. And then Juggernaut comes, boom, bangs through the wall. I like the moment though when Juggernaut like he tries to run at them and he gets too close to Leech and he just knocks himself out.
So Jimmy's gonna get saved.
Yeah,
And they just have to run like people.
yeah. They're gonna throw Worthington off the roof, and he says, "Please, I only wanted to help you people." And Porcupine Boy says, "Do we look like we need your help?" And the answer to which is yes. You
You just
absolutely,
murdered a woman.
you desperately look like you need some kind of help. I don't. Jesus, these people,
Well, you should never, when you're trying to reason with an enemy, you
crazy people.
never use the words "you people."
Oh yeah, that's true.
Hey, straight white guys out there who might be listening, just
Yeah, but you
don't.
know what? But then you know what happens? Oh, they throw him off the roof, and then Angel appears, swooping in on his shirtless, flying, enormous wingspan. Angel catches his dad and flies him away to safety. So the one person who an X-Man saves is this guy, is Worthington, who does not deserve to be saved.
As far as we know, is going to go right back to cure making.
Yep. There's more just like violence. I don't even know what's going on at this point. Everyone's fighting everybody. And Storm and Wolverine are hiding behind something. and they see a package of cure cartridges on the ground. And Wolverine says, "We work as a team." And Storm says, "Best defense is a good offense." And it's just like, this is cliche theater. Like, come on, y'all.
People got paid to write this. This is what makes me crazy.
I
Like,
know. There's another fun Bobby Pyro moment.
ah, yeah, they swing their dicks around. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
where they just go, Pyro goes after Bobby, and then like, and really in the first movie, like, there's no reason these guys don't hate each other. Or in the second movie, rather, next to, like, there's no reason why these guys specifically hate each other. It's just because their powers are opposite to each other. So obviously they have to hate each other. And so they just like they stare at each other, and Pyro blows flame and Bobby blows ice, and
Hmm.
they meet in the middle, and Bobby turns into full Iceman and he headbutts Pyro, and that's the end of Pyro.
I don't think these people know how physics work, though. Maybe that's not important, but I feel like fire is always going to melt the
Ice.
ice.
No, no, no. If you have more ice though,
Hmm.
make it colder. If you can make fire cold. See, this is the thing you don't understand about fire. The thing, Laramie, the thing you don't understand about fire is this, is that if you can make it cold, then it's not fire anymore. I feel like there's some, yeah, frozen. This is why firemen use ice. This is why they always bring an ice maker to the fire, and they stand there and they throw ice cubes at it.
Oh God.
That's why that happens. Did you not realize that?
I,
This is
I,
this is
I,
firefighting 101. So there's been a whole bunch of worst moments in the movie up until now, and here's another worst moment where Colossus picks up Wolverine. They're doing the fastball special. They have decided to work together, and here they are working as a team. Colossus throws Wolverine at Magneto, takes him down, and Magneto is like holding Wolverine, his adamantium skeleton, like holding him in the air and saying, "You never learn, do you?" He says, "Actually, I do." And then Beast jumps up from behind Magneto with 4 cure needles in his hand and just like stabs him right into his chest.
how did he get there?
I don't, yeah, behind him, I have no idea. If it was Nightcrawler, that would work. And then Magneto falls down, and now he's not. Now he's a human, and
What
now
have I
like
done?
the most mutanty mutant gets turned into a human, which just it feels cruel to me. Like, I know that Magneto's the bad guy, and we got to take down Magneto and whatever, but just like taking his powers away actually feels like
I
cruelty.
don't know. He's been a dick this whole movie. Not like just to humans and the other X-Men, but like a dick to
Yeah,
everybody.
but to
So
take his powers away though, I don't know. It just that feels bad to me. Wolverine says to Jean, "It's over, Jean. It's over." And then more troops show up. It's super not over. And so people they try to shoot cure needles at her, and she stops all the needles, and then she turns around to face them, and she just makes that whole troop of people dissolve, which is terrible.
she should just be able to, and everything's gone. She should be able to disassemble the
Yeah.
world in a blink, and instead she's like doing it person, person by person.
Yeah. Yeah.
She dissolves. Oh, she dissolves. I forgot. She dissolves Callisto
Yeah, all
and
them. They all run out.
Lesbian Hand
Yeah.
Lady and Porcupine Boy. She dissolves.
Yeah.
Really, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
they're interesting characters, and I liked them.
Yeah.
It just seems weird that she should be doing bigger, scarier things. I think they were kind
Yeah,
of like,
it's unclear what does she want right now? What is she doing? She's just sort of generally pissed off. Yeah.
well, she's full of rage.
She is full of rage.
What
But
else is
why
she full
now?
of?
Why
She's full of
here? What does she care?
joy and rage, but
Joy and
no,
desire and rage. Yeah.
no, none of those
I'm
things.
not
Just
feeling
rage.
any of it. Yeah.
Not even rage. She's pretty like,
Yeah, she's pretty chill. So she's just like floating in the air like a terrifying person. Everyone is running now. Magneto looks directly into the camera and says, "What have I done?" Fucking sucks. And then he runs away. He joins the evac, and Wolverine says, "I'm the only one who can stop her." There's no real evidence for this, but this is what he believes. And she dissolves like part of the building, and those mutants run out. There's a guy who falls out of a tower. So they have just figured out in CGI, apparently in 2006, how to Thanos snap people, and they are just going to keep on using it over and over. It's like their one big effect. It's not that fun to look at, honestly, or think about, but they use it a lot.
she's blowing shit up. She's
She's trying to
dissolving shit.
dissolve Wolverine, so he's like walking toward her, one step at a time.
If she can take apart everything, why
Yeah.
can't she take apart him? I don't get that. I mean, I feel like I'm supposed to get it, but I don't know if I
Well,
do.
one thing is he has the healing power.
Okay.
So this is like her dissolving him and he's healing himself back up. Yeah, I agree. It's,
I would split him into a couple pieces and like send them around the world.
but you know what? He loves her.
Oh, that's true. It
And
is the all-consuming power of true love.
deep
Yeah.
inside, she's still in there. And so here's the big moment. She says, "You would die for them?" And he says, "No, not for them, for you." And then she turns back into Jean and she says,
Mm.
"Save me." And there are all these choral effects. And he says, "I love you." And then he stabs her in the gut. And it is the worst thing.
And the movie's over, red credits.
And that is what happens. Jean smiles. She smiles and she dies. And everything falls down. And all the cured mutants are still cured. And all the dead people are still dead. And Wolverine grabs her body and cradles her in his big ass arms. And there's a crane shot. And he yells, "No!"
Just like the Shawshank Redemption never
Uh,
happened.
yeah. It's the biggest pot. It's like one cliche after another after another.
This is not a good movie.
It's not a good movie. The thing that is so annoying about this movie is that there is a lot of it that could really work. The
Mm-hmm.
whole cure idea is great. And they really do, like, to the extent that they do, they engage with it on like a political, social,
Yeah.
kind of human rights level.
Well, look what our reaction was when we were sitting here thinking about. So it was
Yeah.
horrifying. So it is making
Yeah.
us like have reactions and feelings and
Yeah.
thought.
So there's good stuff, and like Hugh Jackman's really great, Patrick Stewart's really great, Ian McKellen is
Mm.
great. Like they have a lot of good actors. They have absolute shit dialogue. Oh, and Kelsey Grammer is fantastic, but like their dialogue is terrible.
Yeah.
And they have all of these potential advantages, and it just feels like they blow it. Like they've got Angel, right? They have the ability to make a stunning, like, huge wingspan and have a guy fly around. They can do that real well, and it works perfectly.
That character could be removed and it wouldn't even.
Well, he's just so blank. Like what
Mhm.
you do is you make, if that's a fun visual, which it is, go and use that. Turn him into a real character. Give him a real thing to do. So that's the thing I think that is making us dissatisfied with this movie. It's not because it's a total crap movie. It's really not.
Right.
It's a movie with a lot of advantages
An
that,
unrealized
yeah,
potential.
that just blows them. Oh, and Mystique, and just like killing Mystique
Yeah.
a third of the way
Well,
in.
it's too many characters, but I think a lot of superhero movies, I know a lot of
Yeah.
Batman movies suffer from this. Like we need to have all of this. We got to cram it all in,
Hmm.
and we have an hour and a half or 2 hours or 3.5 hours,
Yeah.
whatever. As long the Batman.
Yeah, you know what though? Happy ending.
Mm.
It's a sunny day, and we're back at Mutant Murder Training Academy. Yeah, so this is a thing. They're welcoming, Storm is outside. She's welcoming students into the school, including little Jimmy the Leech,
Little Jimmy the Leech.
who's grown hair. They've allowed him to grow some hair. He runs up to Storm and they hug each other. And what does she say? "Good to see you,
Good
buddy."
to see you, buddy.
Buddy. How are you letting this? And then he just like walks into the school. How are you letting this kid in the school? He's gonna
Well,
lead
thank
off
God she
everybody.
didn't have to make a storm at that moment. Thank God they didn't need the fog to be lifted or someone to get struck by lightning and electrocuted.
In the background of this are all these kids getting dropped off in front of school by their parents, and everybody seems very jolly and like it's a new school year somehow.
When we solved the mutant problem, we
Yeah.
solved it. We're all friends now.
In all three of these movies, they do the same thing where it's just like at the climax, like they have all these political problems and social problems, and at the climax, there is ruin and devastation on all sides. And then they cut to the school, and it's just a sunny day at school, and everything is just fine. They have no faculty. That faculty gets winnowed down from one movie to the next to the next. I don't know who's going to be teaching these kids.
Who's going to teach physics? Who's going to teach evolution?
And then there's the president of the United States, and Wolverine's watching him on TV, and he's all excited. He says, "I introduce our new ambassador to the UN and the representative to the world for all US citizens, human and mutant alike, big blue furry monster, Dr. Hank McCoy." So like it's not a wrap up of the Cure storyline. The president ordered everyone to use Cure guns the last time we saw him
And could do it again at any minute. I
and
mean,
could
they
do it
could.
again in any minute, except now he's proud of all the mutants.
They stood up for what they.
Wolverine smiles. Wolverine smiles. Way to go, Furball, he says, even though like the love of his life just died at his hand.
Arms. Oh yeah, his hands were
At
in her
his
guts.
hand. He has gone through the 5 stages of grief lightning round. He does not care.
He heals emotionally too, really fast. That's part of it nobody talks about.
He goes outside and he looks up in the air, and there's a big crane shot that pulls away from the school and up to the sky, and there's all this big music. It is a very depressing ending. It's kind of like worst case, like everyone's okay, worst case scenario.
Okay, so then we get Magneto in the park,
Magneto in the park.
and his powers have come back slightly. So
Mm-hmm.
then everyone's powers are going to come back eventually, is what I'm wondering.
Maybe. Except for the ones who were dissolved.
Well, Mystique is, I'm assuming, has been granted some diplomatic immunity for
For turning
she's
state's
off.
evidence.
Yeah, she's off living her worst life somewhere. But like, I just have a picture of her. Like, maybe wouldn't it be cool if she looked at her arm and like flashes blue or something,
Right.
right? Like, I just thought the hint was. I know the hint is supposed to be, oh, Magneto is,
Right.
or he wasn't totally cured, or the cure is
Well,
short
he's
term.
just, by the way, why is he not in jail? Why is he in
I
Golden Gate Park?
I thought he snuck away. He's not
Yeah.
wearing his helmet, so he's not recognizable.
You think he
He's
just
not
like
wearing a cape.
this is Golden Gate Park too. Like he's the one who killed the bridge.
You know that woman from the car is going to come along and recognize him. You
Exactly.
know it's going to happen.
Well, he's famous, isn't he famous?
I think so. He's a terrorist. He's like,
Yeah.
who is Saddam Hussein? We all know what Saddam Hussein looked like. I mean,
We did not send him to jail. We did not do
no
anything to him. We just left him alone, sad old man, in the park playing chess with metal chess pieces.
punishment enough. Your metal chest.
Metal chess pieces. I know.
Fuck's
And he just
sake.
reaches out and the king kind of wobbles a little bit. It's just one of those like the end. Or is it? You have anything left to say about
No, I would like to say.
the
I
last
would like
stand?
to say. I don't know. Um, can we have news stories? Can we have new? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I teach a lot of times. I teach a musical theater unit at the end of every year, and we talk a lot about movie musicals because,
Mhm.
or are musicals based on movies, and how that can be like, people get real pissed about that. And I'm just like, though, before film and before television, people were taking plays and
Yeah.
redoing them in their own way, which to me,
Mhm.
that's kind of what this is. Like, I'd love to do American Werewolf in London the musical. I think it'd be great. I just picture this like singing werewolf head. I think it would be fun. Everyone wants to put their own stamp on things. It's like
Yeah.
this is happening in Stephen King land too right now, where all these movies from 40 years ago,
Right.
people my age now are in the
Are
position to do
remaking them.
movies, and
Yeah.
so they want to do Salem's Lot for the third time, they want to do Carrie for
Mhm.
the fourth time. Like, they want to put their own stamp on things. So I get it.
Well, I think, I think what's happening here, they're gonna keep making X-Men movies and they try again with the Dark Phoenix movie. And I totally agree with you that it is a good thing and a helpful thing sometimes to be able to like remake stories and rethink them and try them
Mhm.
again in different contexts. But this Dark Phoenix story it does not translate because it really, the key to the whole thing is just shock value.
And we already had it.
Yeah, we had that shock, we had that stress, and I think a thing that really helped to make that so powerful was that the people who were reading the comics, it happened over a period of 8 months.
Mhm.
So you're like, okay, when are they going to turn this around? And it's a whole month until you find out, okay, not this issue, and then another month. So you have a lot of time to kind of absorb the shock of it and to see all of your expectations getting, failing just one issue after another. You go into this and you go to like Dark Phoenix, you just look at the poster and the trailer and everything, this movie is a tragedy. they're selling it to you as a tragedy, and you're walking in knowing it's a tragedy. So the fact that it ends unhappily is obvious. You know that before you even come in. And that was not the point of the comic book story, was that you know that this is a tragedy. Laramie Dean, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been so
I'm
great
gonna
talking to you about this.
I'm gonna plug my book one more time too. If
Please
you want
do.
a good queer horror story, it's called Black Forest. You can find me at bylaramiedean.com on Instagram. My website. Yeah, find me, follow me, buy
Please
my
do. It's a
book.
really fun book.
Thank you, Danny Horn. It's been
Yeah,
lovely.
it has been great talking to you. For more comedy about the history of superhero movies, you can go to the blog at superheroeseveryday.com. If you like the show, please leave a review, or you could reach me on Twitter, Facebook, or on the blog. It would be great to hear from you, and please tell the people in your life about the show. I'm going to take a little season break after the next episode, so we've got one more movie coming up. My friend Trevor Bolliger is joining me to talk about the 2005 instruction manual for psychopaths, Batman Begins. It is full of ninjas and the rain and people saying things about fear that are not accurate. So come back in 2 weeks for the season finale of the Superheroes Everyday podcast. Thanks for listening. Love you. Bye.